So I'm back from Hamcation and had a really good time down there. We went to Disney World for a couple of days and went to the Hamcation event. Saw lots of my ham friends and got to talk to many of them. It was a lot of fun. It's always neat to see new equipment, and it's also really neat to see how people, how to put this, how people ham radio. Now, there were easily over 500 cars in the parking lot, and many of them were arrayed like this one, with multiple antennas on top. This one also has a light bar, kind of like the kind you see on police cars. Now, that's usually controlled by state law in most states as to what you can get away with, and I wouldn't want to try to get away with the wrong thing, but obviously this guy has had no trouble because he continues to use that light bar on top of his car. This particular image, I think, says a lot about exactly how geeky and nerdy we ham radio folks are. If you look at this, you can see every antenna known to man on this little bitty car. I wonder, that has to cut his mileage down by 10% at the very least. And I would think it would make his car top heavy so that he'd have to be very careful going around a corner. But there were lots of cars there that had antennas on them, and of course there was all kinds of equipment. One of the big things in ham radio is to be able to go out and work in the field without having a main power source. In other words, not be connected to the grid. Well, Bioenno Power, which is one of the battery manufacturers, they also manufacture solar panels, and they had their solar panels out on array, and a lot of people who do Parks on the Air use these to power their radios while they're out there doing Parks on the Air. And it's an interesting little setup. It goes into their batteries, and most of them are designed specifically to work with these solar panels. Now, there were two big areas where they had vendors set up. These are the vendors who paid big money to be there to hawk their wares to amateur radio operators. And you can see the sign in the background there with DX Engineering. There were lots of different companies there providing goods. This walk around the exhibition floor gives you some idea of the wide variety of people who were there selling all kinds of different things. Here we have an antenna manufacturer showing its Comet antennas, and then over there a bunch of them hung up in places and ways that you could sell them. The little green rope there, the paracord, is something that ham radio operators use to put their lines up into trees so they can get their signal out all over the United States and the world. Keys. A lot of ham radio operators practice what's called CW. CW stands for continuous wave. This is a CW key, which is used to send Morse code. The button on the left, or the paddle on the left, sends a dash, and the paddle on the right sends a dot, so that you can send a code letter very quickly using these paddles. And this is what the video coming up shows with respect to them testing their keys. Here you have the cleaning flow for cleaning, the contact little board. You can set the contact space with this. And then we suggest to use gun oil for cleaning just the surface. The sound you were hearing there the first part was the letter C, and the second part is the letter Q. And CQ is a radio call to any station that might respond. They're not sending it out, they're just testing these keys, because a lot of the reason that people go is to buy new things and use new equipment. And indeed, I wound up buying kind of a geeky headset to use when I do Parks on the Air activations. And I bought a flag to hang on my antenna when I do Parks on the Air activations, basically to let people know what it is that I'm doing and sort of spread the word about ham radio. But probably the most hilarious thing that happened was the last night that we were there, we went to a place called Whispering Canyon Cafe. It's at the Disney's Wilderness Lodge, and the whole shtick of it is that the waitresses and waiters are kind of sassy, and they'll poke fun at you. And right in the middle of our meal, they demanded that we get up and sing, and this was the result.
Ready, and louder and prouder, we're heading to the lobby. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle, here is my spout. When I get all steamed up, hear me shout. Take me over and pour me out.
Well, I hope you found that as side-splittingly funny as my wife did, who insisted on videoing it on my phone. Thank you guys for being part of the channel. Thank you for letting me share a little bit of an event that we had a lot of fun at. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Otherwise, like, share, subscribe. You know all the stuff we ask you to do. Thanks again for watching. Have a marvelous day. If you like this video, here are a few others you might try, and don't forget to subscribe. Have a terrific day, guys.